is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing Finding Mr. Christmas Season 2, Episode 5, titled Christmas on Main Street. Hey, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. You can find us all over the internet, on socials. We are Girls Gone Hallmark everywhere. On Instagram, on TikTok, on Blue Sky, on Threads. We're really trying to be in all the places this holiday season. And for Finding Mr. Christmas, we have been doing our best to live post during the East Coast airing of these episodes. So hop on over to Blue Sky or Threads and hang out with us there.
That is a fun hour for me.
Me too.
I miss live reactions.
Yeah, yes, please come join us there, though.
Yeah, I'm just shouting into the void, though.
A little bit.
Yeah, I like to go back in there like the day later, and there'll be like reactions to it, and I'm like, okay, that's fine too.
It is Monday nights for us, it's 5 p.m., so that is a rough time of day to be actively engaged with something.
Sure.
I just ignore. I'm like, dinner's gotta wait, folks.
I know. I tell everybody, don't bug me for 1 hour. I'll be down at 6. But hey, if you are on Facebook and want to join a Facebook group, we have one. It's called Girls Gone Hallmark. I would love for you to join us today. Also, I'm going to suggest you check out our website, girlsgonehallmark.com. I'm toying with an idea as we record this. Maybe it will be up by the time this episode drops. But I was thinking of doing like profiling the guys.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Maybe like the fan favorites. If you have one and you want to know more about, please email us at girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com. Say like, hey, Wendy, I'd like to know more about Drake or whoever, Angel, Marcus. I think I'm going to do like a little deep dive profile on the dudes.
Give the people what they want and start with Rustin.
Fans are really into Rustin, aren't they?
He's a real fan favorite.
I'm not surprised. I think I said that when I saw episode 1. I was like, he gives that Tyler Hines energy. And I think fans enjoy that.
I think you're right.
Hey, before we jump into our recap of Finding Mr. Christmas episode 5, can I mention an email we got from listener Laura?
Please do.
She emailed us. She's a new listener of the podcast. Thank you. And sent us an email and said, hey, I thought you guys might want to know this, but I am watching season 4 of Selling the OC. And who does she see in episode 6 at the 30-minute mark? A shirtless Angel.
Now, you are a Selling the OC watcher, yes?
I was watching it that day. And when I saw this email, I was like, wait, hold up. I was not even at home. I pull up Netflix because Selling the OC is on Netflix. I pull it up on my phone. I'm actually on the episode that she's referencing, episode 6, but I hadn't got to the 30-minute mark yet. So I was like, scrubbed it a little bit. Sure enough, there he is.
No, what's Angel doing in this episode?
The agents from the real estate group are at a dinner and they hire like some shirtless waiters, and he is one of the waiters.
Ah, got it.
Yeah. And he's in a lot of scenes. The other guy, I don't know who he is, but definitely Angel. I was like, there he is. I can't believe it.
What a get.
I hope he got paid for it. Sure he did.
I certainly hope so. I also would like to follow up regarding Davy being a Hemsworth body double.
Oh, okay.
We did get intel that it is in fact true. It happened on a commercial, which is why it's not on his IMDb, which I didn't know that commercial work doesn't go on your IMDb. Someone did slide into the DMs, someone who knows things. And I don't know if they want me to out them as knowing things, so I'm not going to say who it is, but someone connected enough with the show whose opinion I trust.
Got it.
Well, let's kick off our discussion of the 5th episode of Finding Mr. Christmas with a synopsis.
The hunks roll into giant plastic balls, crashing through Christmas trees in a wild, festive face-off. Then, with Hunter King as guest judge, teams perform a neighborhood party scene that leads to a dramatic elimination.
Our episode opens with Marcus and Robbie having a heart-to-heart around the fire pit outside. We get a little deeper dive into Marcus's discussion about his mom, and as he's relating to Robbie about his stories about his mom. It's a real sweet moment. And
Question.
Yes.
Can I stop you there? We did learn, like, in a previous episode that Marcus's mom has cancer, right?
Yeah.
This wasn't the first mention of it. I'm like, am I going crazy?
No. Marcus mentioned it a couple episodes ago.
Okay. Yeah, this was a nice, sweet conversation between Robbie and Marcus.
Robbie thanks Marcus for sharing this with him. Buddies, I am crying.
Yeah, I was like, Robbie is full, like, therapist mode in that moment.
I love Robbie so much.
I know. I love Robbie too. Guys, this is foreshadowing here.
This episode is full of spoilers in case that's unclear. So if you don't want to hear it, click away now because we're going to be talking about it. But yeah, that was the moment that had my spidey senses tingling a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like if we're giving people, sometimes it's just a nice human interest story, but also sometimes if, as we've discussed, if we're centering someone up top, it means something good or something bad.
I know. I wish they would really, like, dupe me sometime.
Yeah, me too.
Just blindside me with an elimination. Don't give me any clue of what's coming. I will say I was a little blindsided by this elimination, but we'll talk more about it.
Sure. We've been talking a lot about product placement on this podcast as we've seen it in the movies, and the Balsam Hill ad before we go inside the house was Fast and Furious.
It sure was. We established early that we like to call it Balsam Hill House.
Yes.
Trademark. I mean, call us. Should I trademark that? No. I actually, in my recaps that I write, I do put a little trademark
That's
sign
hilarious.
for it because I think it's funny, but
Can we make Balsam Hill House merch, or are we going to get in trouble?
I don't. We have a Girls Gone Hallmark podcast. I don't know. I don't know the patent rules or whatever trademark rules.
I kind of want to make a shirt that says Balsam Hill House.
I know. So we head inside the house and everyone's like buzzing. It's the usual, like, how did you sleep last night? And I can't believe that elimination, so on and so forth. And Rustin jokes, they're talking about like the day, like what's ahead of them. And Rustin says something like, he's like, oh, I want to get outside and sweat. Somebody jokes about like getting the jitters out. And then we have like Angel. It wasn't even a flashback, but he talks about like his Mr. Talent thing about like getting the jitters out. And the only reason this lives in my brain, rent free, by the way, is the getting the jitters out thing is triggering some sort of like children's show that I feel like I watched with my daughter for years and years and years. And I don't know what it is. Is it the Wiggles?
I don't know. We were not a Wiggles family.
I can't recall, but like for some reason that I was like, no, not back to that again. Anyway, I thought this was an interesting scene. This revealed a lot to me in this scene here, because Robbie is trying to steer the conversation about like, what's everybody going to bring into the day? And we hear from Craig, and Craig is like, I need vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And he explains like he came into the competition like, I'm going to come in swinging. I'm going to make bold choices. But now he thinks he might need to like pivot and do something a little bit different because Jonathan isn't seeing like what Craig can bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was super interesting. But then Davey.
Yes.
Davey admits he needs more confidence. And I was like, whoa.
Look in the mirror. Is that what you said to yourself?
No, but I was like, did Gabe leave the confidence behind, or like the lack of confidence behind for Davey to pick up here? Because what is happening?
Right. Well, I think Davey is getting really in his head about the other guys.
Rustin?
Yes, he feels very threatened by Rustin. And what's interesting to me, my perception of Davey, and Davey, feel free to email or DM us to correct me. My perception of Davey is that Davey came into this competition confident and then got a little bit of the self-comparison going and as opposed to letting himself stand on his own, he's measuring himself up against the other guys.
Yeah, it's like imposter syndrome, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch because Davy is a fine piece of humanity. Or no, that's not the word I want to use. He's a fine piece. He's fine. Plain and simple. Like, he's a good-looking man, and I think he can act too.
I think so too. And I also think it's really important to note that Davy and Rustin do not need to be mutually exclusive. Like, I understand this competition only has one winner, but in the acting world, we need a variety of people. And so they're not going for the same stuff, Davy and Rustin.
You know, I wonder if Davy is worried about the perception people have of him because he's a very good looking model, right? And so maybe the doubt is, oh, he probably can't act. And so maybe that's what he is comparing himself. Like, he's like, yeah, I got this because I look good, but now I have to prove to everybody that I can act too, where like the deck is stacked against him. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I think he's measuring his self-worth up against these other guys.
It's wild to watch. It's like a beautiful woman being like, oh, I'm not good at
enough.
Yeah.
It's festive face-off time. Did you like Melissa's baton twirling routine as the dudes enter?
You know, I was like, what is happening out here? In my mind, I imagine like she's like, oh, look at this stick. Let me put some garland on it. Hey, I'm going to pretend like I'm in a marching band. You know, like, I'm sure it wasn't like pre-planned. I just think she just ran with it. It was cute. And then Jonathan on the bullhorn, I was like, whoa, that's just a lot of energy. I'm dying to know, like, was this truly in the morning or was this in the afternoon?
Post Celsius.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So their festive face-off challenge, they've got to get into giant hamster balls and knock down 6 trees. And time is of the essence. Whoever does it the fastest will ultimately win the challenge.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in one of those like plastic hamster ball things?
I have not, and I have questions about it.
Is it hot in there? Is it claustrophobic? Like, I don't know if I could do it.
So you saw when they opened them up that they deflated, right? And then they used like a blower to refill them with air.
Uh-huh.
So is there not air coming in or out, or is the only air in there the air that they start with?
I don't know. I don't want to try it though.
No, me either. They made me a little bit nervous.
Super nervous. Here's my other question about this challenge, because sometimes our festive face-offs have some sort of life lesson tied to it, right?
Oh.
You know, some sort of something that might, you know, a metaphor to acting or, like I said, a life lesson. But I'm coming up empty.
Oh, I was going to say, I can't wait to hear what the metaphor. Yes, I agree. I think this is pure silliness.
Pure. I think whoever designed this challenge was like, you know what? Let's just put these guys on some balls and see them crush some shit.
Let's make some people laugh.
Yeah, I think that's all it came down to.
Yes, agree. They're divided into 2 groups of 3. And our first group is Marcus and Davy and Craig. And one thing you have to be careful of is the ribbons are not visible from every side of the tree. The trees are marked with a color ribbon, and each guy has a color that they have to knock down. And you can't always see the color. And Davy gives Marcus a point right up top, accidentally knocking over one of his trees.
Yeah, why wouldn't you run around it the other way to look for the color?
I mean, maybe the life lesson is like slow down a little bit.
Maybe that is the life lesson.
It is pure chaos in the balls in the beginning, especially with this early group. But it's like Marcus and Davy are off to an early lead, and then Craig makes a comeback, and then it's a 3-way tie, and everybody has 5 points. And then you just see Davy like cruise in for the win.
Davy Hemsworth.
Davy
takes the win.
Hemsworth. Robbie, Rustin, and Angel are group number 2. And they have the advantage of having seen the first group. And so Robbie's a man with a plan.
Robbie is the only man with a plan.
Well, Angel takes off sprinting and then just tumbles, which is humorous. I'm not going to lie. We have the same situation. Like, we get to a 3-way tie of 5, and then Robbie wins the heat.
Look at Robbie the Lobby, right?
I know. He's so good at these challenges. And then it comes down to, they called them heats. And I was like, wait a minute. Are we going to have Davy and Robbie do a final challenge against each other?
They should have.
I think so too. But ultimately, it just came down to whoever had the fastest time in their heat. And Davy takes the win. I wonder if they were like, we can't have Robbie win again. So
why not, though? That's
know.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If Robbie, spoiler alert, if Robbie would have won, no, it wouldn't have saved him because he could have still, in their eyes, did poorly in the acting challenge and then could have been eliminated. So if he won the festive face-off, it probably wouldn't have
Saved
affected
him.
the outcome.
Yeah.
Robbie says here at the end of the scene, he says he'll put a feather in his cap for nearly winning, but a feather is not an advantage in the star quality challenge.
Indeed. Now, Davy's advantage, what do you think of Davy's advantage? He gets to watch the other actors performing and hear Jonathan and Melissa's feedback.
I think it's a huge advantage. And Davy is so smart. We'll get to it, but he does sit there. He takes all the notes. Then he shares with the class so they can all get on the same page to win because you're going to win as a team challenge. So I think his advantages is a really good one. I wish they would have showed more of it because we've been talking for weeks. I'm like, as a non-actor, I would love to hear the notes of like what could be better in a scene.
Well, and I will talk about it, but their notes were different from mine. And so Davy had the advantage of knowing what they were looking for.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the star quality challenge because I have a lot of thoughts.
Let's take a quick break and we're going to come back and talk about the star quality challenge. Before we talk Star Quality Challenge, I just want to make a note. We have another break for bro time before, and they're out tossing the football. And we have more time for these because we have fewer guys, so it takes less time to get through the challenges. And then this particular Star Quality Challenge is done in teams, so we only have 2 scenes as opposed to 6 individual scenes. So we have more time to fill in this episode.
Were you like, okay, I get it. You all played sports.
Sports can really keep a kid out of trouble. Thank you for the Saturday evening special. Well, let's talk star quality.
They arrive on set, which I can't fully. Are they still outside of Balsam Hill House or are they somewhere else?
It seems like they're outside of Balsam Hill House to me. Yes,
think so,
because
too.
the other team is waiting inside.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even clock that. You're right. They were. So Jonathan sets up that they're doing like a neighborhood block party snowshoal. I wonder who came up with that, snowshoal. I like that he had to explain it to Melissa. Melissa's like, yeah, I got it. I love Melissa. Melissa Peterman. I love her so much. What the challenge is, it's going to be 2 teams of 3 with the same script, and they are asked to make their own choices, energy, collaboration. They have to work as a team, but they also have to, kind of stand out a little bit and also direct the scene as well.
Yes, and cast the scene.
Correct. Our special Hallmark celebrity guest is Hunter King. And let's be honest, Robbie is the only one who knows who Hunter King is.
Yes, honestly, this scene was so telling because Jonathan is listing the movies she's been in, and Robbie's like, is it Hunter King? As opposed to Jonathan saying, it's Hunter King, and they all react like, oh my gosh, she's my favorite. Robbie knows.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
So-
like, oh, holiday touchdown? Yeah, it's Hunter King.
Yeah. They talk a little bit about working in a team and what it's like to be in a scene. And I love how Melissa's like, look, I have the tendency to steal the scene, and there's a good time to know when that's called for and when it's not. But I love that she knows who she is.
For sure. For sure. Well, she's a comedian actress, right?
Yes, she's a star, and she does have a tendency to steal the scene.
I'm telling you, I think I need to watch Happy's Place that she's on with Reba.
Maybe.
Do you watch that show?
No.
I think I might watch it in all my free time.
Maybe.
So team 1 is Robbie, Rustin, and Marcus, and team 2 is Angel, Davy, and Craig. And I got to tell you, almost immediately, team 1 with Robbie, Rustin, and Marcus, it's too many cooks in the kitchen. Robbie and Rustin are jousting a little bit on like directing the scene. And I gotta tell you, I got the same feeling. Remember back in the early episodes, the slingshot episode, when Drake was like, I'm gonna be the slingshot shooter because I can do it, blah, 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 blah. It's my childhood dream, whatever. And then Rustin just like swoops in and is like, I'll do it. And Drake is like, okay. Kind of the same energy here.
Yeah, it seemed to me, Robbie seemed frustrated to me. It seemed like he wasn't being heard. He had some ideas, and it seemed like Robbie felt like he was being run over a little bit in the process. That was my perception.
I think so too. I think so too.
Rustin does a talking head, and he's like, I have a good understanding of how this scene should roll. But then when Hunter's like, so who's directing the scene? Rustin's like, oh, everybody contributed. Like, Rustin is playing like it was a team effort, but I think he was driving this train.
Well, that brings up a good question, because I'm thinking about other reality TV shows. And, you know, when you have to put somebody in like the pole position, and if you lose, they might go home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think Rustin was kind of like stepping into this director position, but like when the time came, when Hunter asks like, oh, who's, you know, running the show? And he's like, oh, it's a team effort. Do you think he's trying to protect himself here? Or do you think he was just playing nice? Like we are a team effort.
I got the impression that the vibe of this show is as much about the relationships between the guys as it is about winning the competition. And Rustin knows that. And so I think, in my opinion, he knows that it's smart to play as a team.
Yeah.
The idea that he didn't want to take the fall for their loss, though, is an interesting one. That wasn't my initial impression.
Got it.
It does seem like they're a little more collaborative when they're working with Hunter. They talk about the scene together. Marcus suggests a little nose nuzzling scene at one point and says, if you're comfortable with that. And what I liked is behind them, Jonathan's like, yes, like he's liking that Marcus is making the suggestion and adding moments to the scene. I like when Jonathan gets hyped.
Me too.
What's interesting to me is it's thinking about it. To me, it seems like, oh, the boyfriend role is the better role before we knew anything, because he gets to interact more with Hunter.
Yeah.
But the reality is the boyfriend has fewer lines and is, I think, the harder role to play because everyone's kind of making fun of him. He's kind of the odd man out. And so I think Marcus and Angel, who both play the boyfriend, have a bigger challenge in front of them. It's the character I like the least in this scene, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, same. I agree. I absolutely agree. Well, let me tell you, when they finally get into the scene and they're doing it, for me, I thought Robbie and Rustin were lively and fun to watch. Behind the scenes, you can hear Jonathan saying that like he wants Robbie and Rustin to feel more like brothers. I don't know what that means because I thought it was believable.
I thought they were great. I thought Robbie, of the three, was the best in this scene. Jonathan does say he feels like they're overacting. That was not my
take.
Yes.
Yeah, I hard disagree.
Yeah, Robbie was animated in his reactions, but it didn't feel theatrical to me. I feel like Jonathan has a very expressive face too when he acts. And so, as someone who knows absolutely nothing about anything, did not feel like they were overacting. I really liked Robbie. But it is interesting because since Jonathan saw the creation of the scene from start to finish, we'll talk more about it, but I wonder how much of the creation was influencing his feelings about the actual scene itself.
Oh, interesting.
One thing I really liked about these is there's a clear distinction between when they're rehearsing and when they're recording the scene. Like you can see the actual scene itself changes. Like, did you see like the black bars kind of come down? And it's like a little more of a widescreen setup when they're filming. So it's like you're watching the scene as opposed to watching them film the scene.
I didn't notice that.
I really liked it. So it's like, while we do cut away to Jonathan and Melissa and Davy, it's like we're watching the scene happen. And this is the first time it feels like that to me. Also, there's a lot going on. They have props. There are background actors. There's a lot they got to do. There's a lot of dialogue that they have to put together in a really short period of time.
And a little bit of improv, too.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you recall, the challenge was for them to, like, make it uniquely their own.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things going on.
So the team 2 is up. And as you said, Davy takes the feedback from Jonathan and takes it to his team. And he's like, we got to bring that brotherly energy that Jonathan felt was missing from the first scene.
Did you think there was brotherly energy missing from those two?
No,
From
I
Weston
thought
and Robbie.
No, I thought they were. Now, I will say I do think Davy and Craig did it better.
They nail it. Yes,
But I do think that there was brotherly energy. I did think Robbie and Rustin were kind of, giving it back and forth.
I mean, every brother relationship is different, right?
Yes.
And like Craig and Davy were kind of more like the goofy, like ass slapping, I'm going to give you a wedgie sort of brotherly relationship. And Robbie and Rustin were more like, we're brothers, but we're really two different kinds of people.
Yes.
So for me, they both worked.
For me, they both worked too. Now, my notes say like Angel kind of slides into a directing role. And then I say my early money is on Craig over Davy in this scene.
Because why?
Well, I got to say, Craig really starts to stand out to me in this scene. He
100%
is so natural. He's so funny. I think Davy does a good job. I think Craig does an incredible job. I'm like, I want to watch more of him. I am enjoying this banter. I'm not uncomfortable by it. They had kind of added some improv and some extra lines, which I thought were great. I loved Craig.
Craig choking on the cookie and it like you can see the bits of the cookie flying out of his
Yes.
mouth was so good.
Yeah, that physical comedy was great. I was blown away by him. And up to this point, I have liked Craig as a person and I have thought that he was humorous, but I have thought he was like walking that line of always doing too much. And not so much now.
Yeah, that's right because when they did that photo shoot with the reindeer and he was doing like silly goofy like photo things and they weren't getting the photo. It's like he's trying to take these big swings and they weren't landing. But in this sort of playground in this scene, he was so good. And it really had me wondering because I was like, okay, if Craig wins, if Craig becomes the winner of Finding Mr. Christmas, I don't think I would want to watch him in like a romantic sort of movie.
You want him in the calm.
I need him in the comp. I need him as Ted Cooper.
Exactly.
He's that guy to me.
Yeah,
anyway, he totally caught me off guard.
I'm thinking about Craig and go back to episode 1 where he's Santini, right? Like that was a big swing. He was
Yeah.
the only person who created a character in that moment and it worked for him, right? So he's like, I have to keep doing this. I have to keep doing more. And then I think he was like, I've done too much. And so I feel like now he has swung back into who we need him to be in this episode.
Yeah, I agree. Now, what did you think about Davy playing off of Craig? Because there was some commentary from Melissa that she thought Davy could have done more because Craig was giving so much.
Yeah, I thought Craig was dominating the scene and it felt more like Davy was reacting to him as opposed to giving it on the same level.
Got it. I still thought Davy was good, though.
I thought Davy was good too. And I hope this was a confidence boost for him because their scene overall really did go so well. I liked it. There was nobody that I was like, oh my gosh, that was terrible.
Oh, okay. That's interesting because we didn't talk about it, but I thought Marcus was kind of stiff in Team 1.
Well, spoiler alert, I thought Marcus was the weakest.
So did I.
That being said, compared to some of the performances we've seen up to this point, I think we have made some good eliminations.
Now, let me ask you about Angel. What did you think about his performance?
I liked Angel more than Marcus.
Uh-huh.
But I think this character that they were playing required them to supplicate themselves a little bit and be a little bit submissive to the brothers. And maybe it was the character I didn't connect with because they're like, oh, my cookies are terrible. Oh, I didn't love either of the boyfriend portrayals. I'm sorry.
I agree. Now, Jonathan's feedback about Angel is he says Angel loses momentum in the scene, and I don't know exactly what that means.
Right.
Does he literally like peter out on the line, or does he lose energy, or I would like more explanation in terms of like what that means as an actor. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Hunter felt like Angel was a great team player. I like how they say Craig came in hot in a good way in that scene.
Yeah, but Hunter also said that she liked Marcus's boyfriend energy, but she thought his energy didn't match Robbie and Rustin's.
Yeah, she wanted him to bring his energy up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I have to agree with that.
And Jonathan said he felt like the power struggle between Robbie and Rustin came through on camera. I'm not sure if I agree with that assessment.
I disagree.
I did write some notes to myself going into the elimination. I said I know who I think should go home, but I have no idea which direction they're going. And then I wrote, my vote is for Craig to win the challenge. This is before I know. I was just like, I want to put it on paper and see what's going to happen.
And so who did you think should go home?
All apologies. I thought it was Marcus based on this scene alone.
Yeah, me too.
Let's take a quick break and we're going to come right back with our eliminations. They're in the elimination cave, and I wonder if you notice, now this could just be editing, Jonathan's describing what the winner brought to the challenge. They cut to Rustin smiling.
Yes, I did see that. Yes, I did.
As if he thinks it's going to be him.
Yeah, because this is interesting because Jonathan says, he talks about basically the winner is somebody who played a brother. So we immediately eliminate Marcus and Angel from contention as a winner, right? And so then that leaves us the four guys. And then they show Rustin and he makes like this smile, like he's got it, right? Didn't you think so?
Yes. Now, could that have been from a different moment? Yes, of course it could have been. But to me, it was like, oh, Rustin thought he had it in the bag.
Yeah.
But Craig is the winner. Now, Craig gets emotional with his
Were you
win.
surprised by this?
Yes, were you?
A little bit.
So he talks about how he thought he was on his way out, and now Jonathan gets emotional, and Craig's like, I've worked so hard. So this morning, I thought, well, that's interesting because I don't have a good idea of a lot of these guys' resumes, acting resumes. Craig on IMDb has 18 acting credits. Now, several of them are shorts, but he was in the series How I Met Your Father. He was in the series The Terminal List, in the series Rescue High Surf. So he's done some stuff.
He's gotten some roles.
Yes. I was very touched by Craig's emotion. And I thought his win was very earned.
Oh, definitely earned. Definitely.
Angel and Davy are both marked as safe. And I wonder if they're marked as safe because they decided that Craig's whole team should win.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, it wasn't clear if they were competing as a team.
Right.
Right. So if you're the winning person, then your team is safe. It wasn't clear.
Yeah,
but I think Angel and Davy are safe because of Craig's win.
Yes, I agree. So the bottom three are then Marcus, Rustin, and Robbie. And I wrote, oh no. And I am like stream of consciousness as it's happening. I'm like, oh no, Rustin, Marcus, and Robbie are in the bottom three. And I disagree with that. I find the next conversation very interesting.
Go ahead.
Jonathan asks them how they thought it went on set. And all three guys, I feel, are doing damage control here. And trying to suggest, like, I think we listened to each other's ideas. I think we worked well as a team. I think we tried to hear what the other was saying.
Nobody wanted to be like, I thought Rustin kind of overtook things. Like, I don't know. This is your last pitch. You should maybe throw people under the bus, but it's not that kind of show.
It is not that kind of show. Marcus is told that he is safe. Rustin and Robbie are our bottom two. I mean, this is worst case scenario right here.
Uh-huh.
And then Jonathan gets emotional and says that Robbie is the one going home. I want to talk about a few things.
Go ahead.
One, Robbie is an absolute angel here. He says, all I wanted was to make you proud. Angel sobbing in the background. Jonathan says, you make me proud and you make our community proud. I loved everything about that moment and the way the two of them handled it.
Yeah, I got choked up, actually.
But Jonathan talks about how Rustin and Robbie's disagreement going into the scene put them in this position.
I disagree.
And you disagree that they should have been in the position because of that.
I think they were trying to play it up more than what we saw.
right? Was there more? Was there actual contention? I'm going back and forth because I'm like, okay, of course we don't want to cast someone who's going to be difficult on set.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's part of it. You want someone who's fun to work with. Okay, they're trying to figure out all the pieces. Like that's why we do the modeling challenge, because we got to get someone who understands how to work to a camera and all of that. That's why we do the press challenge, because these people need to be able to speak to the press and answer questions and promote the things they're in. But to me, and maybe it's because it affected Robbie, and I just love my Robbie, and I feel like his performance was stronger than some of the other performances who are sticking around.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I did touch base with Robbie the Lobby, who remains the sweetest, has the best attitude, and says he felt like he landed among the stars with this experience. Which, could he be any sweeter?
No, I mean, he says that at the end of the episode, and I feel like it's that kind of vulnerability that makes me tune in every week.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I love Robbie. I hate seeing him go home.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't even like one of my favorites from the beginning, but he has just shown, when he has those like moments when he wins the challenges and he's like, these guys don't know how much it means to me, like that I feel part of their brotherhood or like whatever. It's like he fully showed who he was, and it just hurts my heart to see him not win.
Yeah, I feel like Robbie, we've really gotten to know on a personal level. He's been so vulnerable and open, and so I'm so connected with him. And I have been rooting for Robbie since day one, so it hurts me to see him go home. And unlike last week's elimination, where I felt like it hurt me, but it was the right choice, this one hurt me, and I don't agree.
Yeah, this one hurts, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Because Robbie has done so well in the competition. Not just in the festive face-offs, but in the star quality challenges.
He won last week.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Nope, it doesn't.
I love this dumb show.
Well, hey, thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. We'd love to know your takes on who's going home each week. Do you agree? Who are you rooting for? Email us, girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com.
I just want to ask you before we sign off, who are you rooting for now that your number one guy is gone? Who do you think might take it?
Craig and Davey both really impressed me this week, but I think there's something undeniable about Rustin's appeal.
Yeah.
Especially based on the fan reaction.
Right. Same. I'm not ready.
Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. We'll be back next week with more thoughts on Finding Mr. Christmas. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.